Loft 100 Studios, the Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyentgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Oh, man.
Phenomenal.
Unbelievable. I smell Emmy. Hey there, live from the Loft 100 Studios in sunny San Diego, California. Big Biz Show's on the air. Great to have you along today. Sully here, Costa there, Todoroff there, and of course, the DTC. No. Yes. Go ahead. DTT. DTT. All right. Looks good. Did I mention? I mentioned Bloomberg Television. I mentioned Bloomberg TV.
Maybe.
Have I told you about that? Is that the sniff? Was that the sniff of superiority?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Did I mention Bloomberg Television?
Extend the
Well, it's Bloomberg Financiero, actually.
That's even better.
15 million homes in Mexico now.
We love Mexico.
That we get to go into. But welcome to our new audience in Mexico. How that? We should get Steve Dillard in here. Baby, get our trumpet player in here. What do you think? Great to have you along today, as usual, and had an unbelievable show so far. I don't know how long it's going to take to get used to that disclaimer, but
that's
well, the old
it's
disclaimer
epic.
fairly had 3 employees that went off to college.
Sure.
Okay. 1 employee, Rusty Nails, who passed away. It was time for a new one, but I think that's much better. I like this one much better.
The fact that that booze bottle makes it just hilarious. Excuse me, bottle of root beer.
I think
it's right there behind you. I think is it the skull glass?
Yeah,
skull bottle.
I think it's a skull bottle. That's
exactly.
Castaway bottle.
My good friend James Sapirstein, longtime contributor here to Big Biz Show. He's the chairman, president, CEO of a company called First Wave Biopharma. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol FWBI. And of course, James has served over 30, 40, something like years in the pharmaceutical industry. He was with Eli Lilly, he was with Hoffman LaRoche, Bristol Myers, and now he holds the reins as chairman, president, and CEO of First Wave Bio. Love to talk to him. I want to see what direction they're going these days. James, how are you, sir? Good to talk to you.
I'm good, and I love that disclaimer too. That was great.
we'll let you borrow it in the future if you need to use it. Hey, for the folks who haven't seen you before, I know we've been in a couple different situations here, economically, financially, along with going. You were even our go-to guy talking about COVID. I want to talk about here this morning, or about what direction you guys are going in these days, because every time I read a press release with you guys seem to be taking the ball down the field once again. Before we do that, though, I think Todoroff has a question about COVID.
Well, I have a question about COVID.
You're a COVID guy.
Yeah, well, I have a question about COVID as far as, do we have any new data that's showing it's either, headed in that same direction, or is it declining, or how does it compare to the flu as well?
Great question.
It's actually increasing again. It's rearing its ugly head, but the virus, at least the strain that's out there now, is not deadly. It's not virulent. So you're not seeing the amount of hospitalizations but I can tell you, my admin, her husband and her son both have COVID right now, so it's for real.
What are the new symptoms? Asking for a friend.
It's usually, some lung associated symptoms, the raspiness that you get in your breathing, sore throat, low grade fever, and usually goes away in about 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, I keep on hearing in the news. So the answer is still vaccination. I mean, are we down to endemic again, and this is just a different strain of the flu, so to speak, the different strain of the COVID every year, so we're going to have different strains of flu, different strains of COVID as we go forward? Is that how this works?
Absolutely. I think anyone who's 65 or over should continue getting vaccinations. The rest of us, I think we're okay for now.
Yep.
But I'm sure by next year there'll be 2 or 3 more strains, and we'll have to get another vaccine.
And it's one of those things where, some people swear against getting the flu vaccine because they think it gives them the flu. I am a big believer in getting the flu vaccine in the summertime. My doctor said, look, why would you get the flu vaccine right when the thing's right in your face? So I'm assuming there's going to be a seasonality to COVID, or maybe not.
No, I think there is. I think there will be a seasonality. I agree with you, mostly because as the winters come and people just start getting common colds, sometimes these viruses travel as people's immune effects or immune responses are lowered, you're more prone to getting COVID. So yes, it will be seasonal.
James, how far down the road are you guys looking for the next quote unquote monster? We had COVID, and then, hey, here comes monkeypox, and now bacteria eating or flesh eating bacteria is coming back around. I mean, how far down the road you guys look?
I think we're looking right now. I live in Florida. You probably don't get our news out there, but there's actually leprosy patients in Florida and malaria patients.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about First Wave Bio once again. Stock symbol FWBI. James, what are we focusing on these days? Because you guys seem to be on the cutting edge every time you move forward somewhere. So let's talk about this.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing me on the show and letting me talk about this. So we had some top line data for our manufacturing trial that wasn't very promising, and I had to put that out there because that's really what I told the investors I would do.
Sure.
We are digging into this data. The data does not look as bad as the top line data was, quite frankly. So we're working on the reports right now. We're working with our CROs, and hopefully we can continue, moving this drug forward in the right direction.
And talk about the malady, talk about the efficacy that you think you're going to experience, so on and so forth.
Sure. So we're looking at this for cystic fibrosis patients who cannot digest their foods correctly, and it's kind of a malabsorption type of thing. And they do need these enzymes. Right now they're on pork derived enzymes. Ours is humanized. It's made from yeast cells. And you have to take less capsules per day than you do with the pork. We also don't believe we're going to have a black box warning that the pork ones do. We're getting closer at this point to having the right formulation. And if that's the case, number one, just from a compliance perspective, patients want this drug. So the cystic fibrosis community patient groups really want to see this drug make it to market.
James, is this a quality of life issue here, or is this a cure issue, or is it a little bit of both?
It's actually a quality of life. I wish it was a cure, but it's not a cure. Some of these kids take anywhere from 15 to 40 to 55 capsules per day. Imagine, you're a kid and you're taking that with meals and snacks. We hope to reduce it to 5. Well, it probably won't be that low anymore, but 8 to 12 capsules per day. And that's a lot less. So it is a quality of life, and compliance goes up as people are more willing to take their products. They take them, then they feel better.
Yeah, well, let's face it. I mean, if somebody told you how to take 40 capsules a day, I do that once. I'm probably not going to be convinced to do it again. Where are you guys in the arc of your story and development? I know we saw the FDA sort of grid there. What are you expecting next, and what's sort of in the line of what do you have to complete next to get to the next step?
So we're compiling this report. We're going to talk to the FDA. We want to have what's called an end of phase 2 meeting with the FDA, where they will give us some very strong direction. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to see. Hopefully that'll happen before the end of the year, and then hopefully we can be back in the clinic again.
Yeah. And any suggestions on, what the time frame is for FDA once that happens?
It's usually between 30 and 60 days that they give you an answer. So
Yeah.
if we get in to see them, November, October, we might know by the end of the year. Look, the FDA is still overwhelmed. It's still not quite the department that we need it to be.
Are they overwhelmed because of COVID still, James? Is this a hangover from the COVID, the real pandemic of 2020?
I think so.
Yeah.
And also, it's more about people not coming back to work, right? So a lot of folks are working from home. If you can imagine, they've got over 115,000 employees.
Oh, my gosh.
And 85 to 90% of them work at home.
Yeah, and the interesting part of this
Unbelievable.
is the FDA.
Yeah.
Right. James, thank you so much, brother. We'll talk to you very soon. James Sapirstein, Chairman, President, CEO.
Leprosy.
First wave biopharma, yeah. You're right.
Hey, Lazarus called.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Hear about the hockey player that had leprosy? left the face off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I couldn't help it. Big Biz Show continues.